and welcome to the news with the Two Whalleys. I'm Simon Whalley, and the other Whalley is my dad, John. He's 85, I'm 45. He's in Wales, I'm in Japan. He's a big meat eater, I'm vegan. He reads the Daily Mirror, I read the Guardian. There's a lot we agree on, there's a lot we disagree on. We usually have conversations once a week, and we just put the world to rights, moaning about the state of the world. And we thought, why don't we actually record this and see if it's any funny, if it's good. So that's what we're going to do. If you like the cut of our jib, leave some messages in the comments and share on social media. If there's anything you want to hear us talk about, again, drop a message in the comments and we'll try and talk about it. Okay, let's get into it. Here we go. All right, Dad. What do you want to talk about first?
Well, the Tories now. I think this is stupid. The Tories are to scrap windfall from 75% back to 40%.
Yeah,
and they're earning
yeah,
and they're earning £986 a second. These energy companies, and they're giving 4.8 billion doled out to shareholders.
yeah.
I mean, all the money they're making, and they're going to cut it from 75 to 40.
75 back to 40, yeah. So they changed it. They knocked it up to 75 because of the crisis in Ukraine, right?
Yeah.
So you think they should leave it there, Dad, yeah?
Leave it at 75, but they're making all that money, the energy companies, and people are suffering. Of course they should, yeah.
But it does say in that, it says that they will return it back to normal levels if it stays at the sustained period for 6 months at $71 a barrel or something, right?
Well, no, I think they should keep it at 75 until we get out of all this trouble we're in, like, you know?
Yeah, I mean, another option, Dad, would be nationalizing BP, right? Put it back into public ownership.
Oh yeah. And
then
I mean, that was Margaret Thatcher, wasn't she? She privatized everything, didn't she? You know.
Well, I mean, yeah, she started it, and they're carrying it on, right? Labour started it on. Conservatives are carrying it on. So yeah, 4.8 billion. You could use that then, instead of paying it off to rich shareholders, you could use it to move to renewable sources of energy, right?
Yes, yeah.
Which is why they won't do it.
Yeah, no. And then there's a problem now with this seagrass. They're losing all this seagrass. Now, the seagrass attracts CO2.
It's sequestering because CO2, yeah.
And it's going because of pollution in the ocean.
Yeah.
Right. Well, can they get volunteers? Show them how to. I think they take a bit off the seagrass and replant it or something like that. Well, can they get volunteers and show them how to do it, and then we can have more seagrass in shore.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's actually, I'm surprised you picked up on this story, Dad. This is kind of what I'm interested in. Yeah, Swansea University is one of the universities that is doing that. So I think last summer they had 750,000 seeds that were gathered and stored at laboratories in Swansea University, and then in West Wales, in Pembrokeshire, they've got a big project where 1 million seagrass seeds are being planted as part of Britain's largest project to save the wonder plant. So yeah, 92% have been lost over the UK's coast in the last century.
That's right. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, we could get volunteers, and they could show them what to do. So I don't think they'd be short of any volunteers, if they asked for them. Yeah,
well, yeah, of course. The one problem with it is pollution. That's one of the problems with it, Dad. But another is fishing, right? Especially what's it called when you're dragging massive nets across the bottom.
Oh, the nets, yeah, trolling, like
trolling, yeah. So I mean, that's what is also causing these problems, because South Wales used to have a lot of these seagrass meadows, and now they don't have any, right?
So that's right, yeah.
I mean, you need to, obviously, as a vegan dad, yeah, if we lived in a vegan world, this wouldn't be a problem. Most of the pollution that's in the oceans from plastic comes from the fishing industry. And most of the damage that's being done to the bottom of the oceans, the ocean bed, that's also being done by the fishing industry as well. So, yeah, I mean, is part of it, Dad. But I agree totally. That's I got found some interesting facts here for so seagrass meadows store carbon 35 times faster than tropical rainforests, and they harbor up to 40 times more marine life than bare seabeds. So yeah, it's a crucial step really to be able to sequester all that carbon that we put up into the atmosphere. And it was something like in Australia, they reckon it's the work that they've been doing there is sequestering about 2 gigatons per year, which is more than what Britain's annual emissions are, you know. But of course,
that's right.
Bigger coast, right? So yeah, no, that was an interesting one, Dad. What led you to?
Well, I saw a program on it on I think it was on BBC, and I thought it was interesting. And I thought, well, surely we could get volunteers, and they could show them what to do. I don't think they'd be short of any volunteers.
Yeah, no, I don't think they would. A nice little segue that into the BBC. It's not in the news, but it's kind of always being threatened. What should happen to the BBC with a licensing fee, Dad? You know, a lot of people, especially the paid for television channels, they want to see an end to the BBC because it threatens them, right? So, what do you think, as somebody who gets the BBC for free? Do you think it should continue to be funded by taxpayers?
What, funded by taxpayers?
Yeah, I mean, right now the BBC is funded by taxpayers, right? So you don't have any advertisements shown to you.
Oh yeah, it's a good thing not having the advertising. Yeah.
And also things like you've just been saying. You watched the program about, about seagrass. That's not the most exciting thing to be on TV, Dad. If they were private TV channels, they probably wouldn't put that on because they wouldn't have.
But a lot of people like these documentaries, like Attenborough and places and people like that. They like them kind of programs, which are on BBC, aren't they? You know.
Well, yeah, exactly, and the way that commercial TV channels work is they only put stuff on that they think people are going to watch, right? Even if it's in the public interest that they need to know, they won't show you it because it's not going to make them money, right? Whereas the BBC can.
And BBC do show you all. They put programs on about this, about like how farming is going to happen in the future. And people are diversing into different farming instead of cattle, like, you know.
Yeah,
it shows you all them kind of programs, like, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I think the BBC's one of the two things that Britons should be most proud of, Dad, with the NHS, right? And I'm pretty sure you agree with that one.
Oh yeah, and also now there's another thing. You know, should we shred Boris Johnson's honour list of 50? I mean. He's giving them to people who are failures. I mean, well, if they weren't a failure, what would he make? Would he make them a saint or something like that? It's absolutely crazy.
Well, go on.
They should stop his 50 list. They should, 50 honours list.
Well, yeah. Have you looked at the people on it, Dad?
I have, yeah.
It's basically anyone that's helped him over the last 4 years or 3 years since he's been
giving him money,
or giving him money. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's corruption, Dad, isn't it? That's all it is.
Yeah.
But let's be honest. He's not the first person that's used this system, to get what he wants, right?
And then people now they can go to the House of Lords when they retire. They go to the House of Lords and claim £300 a day and go home, can't they?
Well, yeah. I mean yeah, they can do that, but that's not what gets me boiled up, Dad. It's the fact that these people can then veto laws that have been made by people who are democratically elected by the people of the United Kingdom, right? So everyone could vote. All the MPs could vote for a law to, whatever it is, X, Y, Z. And then these people who have not been voted into power, that have been put into positions of power through corruption, can then veto whatever they've done. And, so it's, yeah.
Well, in other words, we should get rid of the House of Lords, shouldn't we?
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Yeah, I mean, I personally don't think we should get rid of the House of Lords. I think, I think that we should change the name of it and have a House of Representatives or something, and then those people voted into power by the people as well, and then their job would be to make sure that the laws that are being passed by the House of Commons are just laws that are good for the people, right?
Yeah.
But it definitely should not be people who are born into power that are given lifetime peerages. That's just absolute bollocks, right? And I don't think anyone in the UK, apart from the peers themselves and the people who benefit from it, would disagree. I mean, it's ridiculous, right? It's, again, this is a hangover from these archaic times. It's basically leftover feudal times, right?
And then there's another thing as well. I remember now, after the war, now when they were short of housing, they made prefabricated bungalows, right? They were cheap, but they're supposed to have lasted 20 years. And most of them lasted about 60 years. So why can't we say each town builds 6 of those, which is not costing much money, for the refugees, or, which is a lot cheaper than the 6 million a day in hotels.
What do you mean, six homes in each town, Dad? That's not going to do much, is it?
What, all over Great Britain? Well, say 20 then.
Well, yeah, I do agree with what you're saying, that they should be everywhere in Britain. I mean, at the moment, the way that it works is refugees tend to be put into areas where there's lots of working class people, and then there tends to be resentment, right? Whereas in
there's going to be resentment now in Llanelli. They're putting them 300, I think, into an hotel in Llanelli.
Well, yeah, I mean, I totally agree, Dad, that we should be building housing to.
I mean, if they last 20, 30 years, well, it's by that time they're probably working and earning money and buying their own house.
Well, that would be the plan, right? And as the UK population declines as it is, they would be able to go into the workforce and take over from British workers, right?
Yeah.
No, and this is a nice little segue into something that was horrible today, Dad. I don't know if you saw the news about the migrant shipwreck off of Greece.
Oh yes, it's about 700 people were on the boat, weren't they?
I don't know. Was it? Yeah, 750 migrants were.
I think it was 700 odd people on the boat. Yeah. I know, crazy.
79 have known to have drowned. 104 have been rescued. So potentially, you're looking at 650 odd people could have disappeared, right?
To me, though, you've got to get to the root of the problem, and that is the people that's shipping them. They, that you've got to get to the root of the problem to win, haven't you?
Well, yeah, I've got this story in front of me, Dad. I think it's and they quote quite a few people here. They quote the International Rescue Committee is saying that the European Union must act now to expand safe routes into Europe. The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres says that every person searching for a better life needs dignity and safety. Someone speaking from the United Nations is saying we need to create orderly, safe pathways for people forced to flee, and for a comprehensive action to save lives at sea and reduce perilous journeys. And then you've got the UN High Commissioner for Refugees, Filippo Grandi, saying that may the survivors may governments cooperate to increase safe pathways and work together on collective solutions to address these flows. So they're all these institutions are calling for safe pathways for these people, Dad, and governments are doing the exact opposite and forcing them essentially to pay illegal traffickers to bring them over, right? And if you look at the captain of this ship, Dad, left the boat.
But they don't seem to be doing it. They keep on saying they're going to solve this problem and that, but they're not solving it, are they? people are still coming over, you know, and they're not solving the problem.
They're not trying to solve the problem, Dad. As I said to you, France has already offered Britain to have a asylum center in Calais where people can claim refugee status, right? At the moment, the only way you can claim asylum is to actually get into the UK. And that's the same in Europe. You can claim asylum inside the country. But most people who are coming from poor countries, they can't get into the country in the first place because they can't get visas, right? So the only choice they have is to basically stay where they are or to try and get into these countries. Technically, it's not illegal because everybody has the right to claim asylum under the Geneva Conventions, but they're basically forced to cross what we are calling illegally into these countries, right? So that's got to stop.
Yeah. I'm just going
You're off the toilet, you? You cup of coffee, cup of tea.
Right.
So yeah, that's basically, Dad. I agree with you. We've got to get to the. Well, what do you think is the crux of the problem there, Dad? If you were going to get to the source of it.
Well, no. Well, you've got to with France. You've got to have bonds with France to stop, to find out who is doing this. You know, all the criminals that's doing this and taking the money off the people, and you know, that's where the root of the matter is getting to the bottom of it. Is to get the people who are shipping them over.
Right, but if you imagine if today, Dad, you took all of the illegal all these captains who are smuggling people across the channel or whatever, would it end then, Dad? Would it end? Would that be an end to the matter? You know.
I don't know. Would you? I don't know.
Well, no. I mean, those people are still going to need to. They're basically, there's a lot of people, Dad, who need to escape from the lives they're living, especially now in Sudan. You've got the war going on. You've got Ukraine. Of course, we're looking after Ukrainians because they're white, but you've got Sudanese people who are black. Nobody. I don't see any campaigns in Britain taking a Sudanese refugee, Dad. Do you see any of that?
No, but why can't we have a team in France doing the application there, and if they're allowed to go back, then bringing them over?
Okay, I agree, Dad. They should have that, and that's what I'm saying. The French government's offered the Tory government that, but they don't want it, Dad, because it's good optics for them. It's good optics to have people coming in by boat, and then they can be, we've got to stop the boats. We've got to stop the boats, and then nobody's paying attention to Boris Johnson's Partygate and all the rest of it, Dad, are they? They're just paying attention to all these desperate refugees trying to get to safety. So it's good optics. Yeah. It makes the government, it gives them basically something else to talk about instead of the main problems, right?
And then there's another thing as well. I think with the Welsh Council now are trying to put a maximum of 3% for landlords to raise the rent per year, right?
Yeah, that.
No, I don't.
Go on, Dad. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
But to me, if the landlord wanted to raise it, say 8%, all he's got to do is raise it 3% one year, 3% the next year. Instead of, say, he wanted to put 5%, he might be putting it 5% and leave it for 4 years. Right? But this is a loophole, I think, for the unscrupulous landlords to get 3% every year.
Yeah, no. Is it? Am I right, Dad? This is only for social housing, people in social housing, right? Like people.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, so you would prefer them not to have a price cap, would you, or not?
Well, no, yeah. Well, I think it's open for landlords. It is open for landlords to increase it 3% every year. Now, say the landlord wanted to put it up 5%, he can't. But if he did get the 5%, he may leave that before he raised it again, he might leave it for 4 years.
Yeah, but I mean, if he didn't have the cap, he could put it up by 10% each year, couldn't he? Right? I mean, isn't it better to have a cap than no cap at all? I mean, it's
probably yeah.
What I noticed when I was looking at it, the private housing has increased by 4.8% in the last year, Dad. Some landlords are just arbitrarily.
Well, yeah, couldn't they do it like for inflation? They can't go more than what inflation is.
Well, yeah, I mean, they shouldn't. I agree with them having caps on it, Dad. You know, it's You know, but it goes against everything the Tories are against. The Tories are against any kind of regulation, right? They believe that the markets should be completely free, or what they mean is, you know, people with money should be free to do whatever they want, and people without money have to do whatever they're told to do, right?
Yeah.
Essentially. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, it seems to me like having a cap is a good thing, but.
And there's another thing as well, Boris Johnson. Why do the taxpayers have to pay his legal fees when he's earning millions in after dinner speeches?
Oh, I mean, yeah, totally that. I mean, I understand why he's got to have a lawyer representing him, because that's the British legal system, which again, it's a good thing. It means anyone and everyone is entitled to have a lawyer, right, when they're charged with a crime, which is a good thing. We didn't have that back in Victorian times, and people got sent.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be for the rich. The rich should have to pay themselves, shouldn't they?
Well, I mean, yeah, you can make an argument for that, Dad, and I wouldn't argue against it, to be honest. No, but you'd have to say where's the cut off for that, isn't it? What is rich? What is not rich? Is it someone earning over $1 million a year? And then they'd probably get a lawyer in and would argue that they don't make any money at all, and it's all hidden in offshore accounts. So, yeah, I mean, well, the problem with it for me, Dad, is that he's not accepting the state lawyer, is he? He wants to have the best lawyer that money can buy, and he wants to tax.
That's right. Yeah.
And that's not open to anybody else. So that's where I would get angry about.
That's right. Yeah. He shouldn't be able to get the best lawyer on taxpayers' money.
No.
If he wants the best lawyer, he should put that in his own money.
Oh, I mean, they should troll. They should have a competition, Dad, for the worst lawyer in the UK, and then give him that lawyer.
Yeah, well, I agree with that.
Fully bullshitter from down the docks, who was just past his bar and doesn't know anything about it, and then see if he can get off of it. You know, that's what I'd go for. What did you?
And then,
oh, go on, go on.
And then is on his visit. Well, I think he's intending a visit to South Africa. Putin,
yeah.
Right. Now, will South Africa, will they arrest him? Because they're an ICC member.
The International Criminal Court. I don't know, Dad. Will they arrest him? I wouldn't have thought so, Dad.
No, I think what they'll do, they'll come out of the ICC, won't they?
Yeah.
If he goes over, they're not going to arrest him. But if he goes over, they'll probably come out of the ICC.
Well, I mean, what they could do, Dad, I don't know. Couldn't Russia just remove itself from the ICC the same way America has? America's not part of it either, because they don't want any American citizens to be tried by an international criminal court. They don't believe that it should. That America is the top criminal court on the planet, right? So yeah, I think it's highly unlikely, Dad. You know. Yeah. One other thing, I don't know. Before we call it a day, Dad, did you read that article about synthetic human embryos being created?
No, I don't think I did. No.
Okay. Well, they've just created synthetic human embryos using stem cells in a groundbreaking advance that sidesteps the need for eggs or sperm. So basically, they're at the initial stages of being able to create humans without any humans. So I don't know what does anything stand out and worry you about that, Dad?
Oh yeah, I don't agree with it at all. No, no, no.
I mean, it's
No.
you know, I don't know. The way they're selling it, as always, is that it's going to provide a crucial window on the impact of genetic disorders and biological causes of miscarriage, right? But so it sounds like they're trying to do a nice thing, but eventually it could be used, as any technology could, against us, right? They could easily grow, make humans by themselves, and then have this human army, right? That's
That's
basically.
right. Yeah,
I
have
mean,
a robot army. Yeah,
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 I mean, it
yeah.
goes into like fucking George Orwell stuff from Animal Farm, you know, with the when he takes all the dogs away and then creates this dog secret police kind of thing. Anyway, it's just
Is that a one existential threat? Is that the one?
no, that's not AI. No, artificial intelligence. That's different, Dad. Yeah. What was that story?
Uh,
What was that one?
that was about robots, wasn't it?
Oh, okay.
Robots are going to run the world eventually, like, you know.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a concern, Dad, isn't it? Existential threat. I mean, it could be, but it's definitely. I've been talking to. It's an existential threat to jobs. It's an existential threat to my job. I tell you, Dad. Honestly, these I use like it's called Chat GTP, and it's artificial intelligence. It's you can have a conversation with it. I ask it to do jobs for me, Dad, and it does. And I'm not serious. I can say to it, design me a lesson plan for this subject, and it designs me a lesson plan that's actually pretty decent. So given 5 years, they could easily get rid of teachers and just have AI give students tasks to do that they would upload through.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, it's
Yeah, because they've got robots now operating on people, haven't they?
Yeah, but those robots are being led by humans, and that's actually a really good thing, Dad, because robots don't make mistakes, right? You know, humans when they're operating on people, they can shake or whatever, you know, whereas robots won't do that. So yeah, I mean, it's that could be, and they're using it already, and it is a good thing. But yeah, all right, Dad. I think that's we've covered quite a bit today, man. I think
Yes.
that's pretty good. I'm gonna go and get my dinner. It's
Well, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that.
6:30. Yeah. What time is it there? It's 6:30 in Japan. What time is it in Swansea?
6:30, and in Swansea it is 10:15.
10:15. There you are, Dad. Right. Well, let's get some news for next week, Dad. Have a good day, and I'll speak to you.
Okay. Thanks very much.
Nice one, Dad. Ta-ra.
Bye.